Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. The Roman Catholic Archbishop of St. Lucia chimes in on the conversation of the conduct of women in the just concluded Carnival. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 27th July 2023. Details after this important message.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Archbishop Gabriel Malzier has denounced the vulgarity witnessed during the parade of the bands on Carnival Monday and Tuesday in St. Lucia. Archbishop Malzier, in a statement bearing the title A Reflection on Carnival 2023, expressed concern about the messages Carnival costumes and behaviors may be sending across to future generations. It was not an all-scathing statement. The Archbishop applauded the creativity of some of the songs and some of the costumes. Gina Filippi of HTS News Force reports.
Archbishop Gabriel Malzier has called for the elimination or exorcism of the Carnival Bam Bam Wall. The Archbishop, in a piece titled A Reflection on Carnival 2023, said that he was sad and appalled by what ladies had reduced themselves to in the Carnival parade of the band's display. He argued that the novel phenomenon of the Bam Bam Wall will continue to have subliminal effects on the national psyche if not eliminated or exorcised. Moreover, he contended that the less than honorable behavior at Carnival is only a symptom of the bigger reality, the cycle of exploitation of women, which he said began with slavery and deserved some national discussion. He continued to say that many musical artists who are male continue this exploitation by producing lyrics which glorify women, shaking their bumper, encouraging them to embrace the marketing role as whiners. The religious leader added that many women who have been the victim of body shaming now use their bam bam as protest in the public space to flaunt those who scorn their appearance in officialdom, thus reflecting an intermingling of catharsis and protest as seen in the present version of Carnival. Malzier, in his reflection piece, commended and congratulated Tribe of Twelve's portrayal of the theme of For God So Loved the World, stating that it was, quote, a glimmer of hope amid what seemed like a banalized performance of the Caribbean culture, end quote. The religious leader appropriately dubbed, quote, the tribes of No 12 or practically No 12, behaviors that any civilized Christian society would denounce. He asserted that society may be in grave danger if this is what is regarded as culture, which must promote and enhance the dignity of the human person. The Archbishop expressed concern about the messages the carnival costumes and behaviors may be sending across to the youth and future generations. Nonetheless, Archbishop Malzier noted the positive attributes of Carnival, including creativity in calypso compositions and costumes, a viable avenue for collective catharsis, or the release of emotional, physical, and psychological tensions created by the stresses of everyday life. The religious leader proposed the call for an open invitation of all stakeholders to a national discussion on the way forward for St. Lucia Carnival. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.
The legacy energy systems in the electricity industry are no longer sustainable, and the time has come to take decisive action to bring about transformative change. TTT's Mahalia Joseph Wharton has more as to who made this pointed statement during the opening ceremony of the Caribbean Electricity Utility Services Corporation's CARELEC 2023 Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition on Sunday.
When it comes to developing sustainable energy systems, several critical areas must be prioritized. Head of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at UWI St. Augustine, Professor of Power Systems and Sustainable Energy, Sanjay Bahadur Singh, listed these areas as he stressed how important it is that the transition takes place.
And it is therefore very wise to consider the role of liquefied natural gas facilitating this transition and green hydrogen in the future. By embracing these low-carbon resources with smart design, we can reduce our reliance. Energy storage technologies also play a crucial role in this transition.
Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez said the government is fully cognizant of the importance of renewable energy as envisioned in the net zero pathway and is fully committed to the development of the country's renewable resource.
Over the years, the Commission's research has included solar PV pilot projects at TNTech Mount Hope, the University of Trinidad and Tobago Omera campus, a TNTech PowerGen hybrid solar and wind system at the Islamic Children's Home in Gasparillo, and wind power testing at Ministers Bay and Flagstaff in Tobago.
General Manager of TNTech, Curvis Francois, said the nation's declining natural gas reserves, coupled with the requirement to reduce our carbon footprint, has hastened the Commission's transition from fossil fuels to an energy mix involving renewable energy.
This, along with other national renewable energy initiatives, will favorably impact our energy security and energy sustainability goals. The Commission is also implementing smart grid technologies to improve system reliability. We have already installed dozens of automatic network devices that work synergistically to reduce the extent and duration of outages.
The CARELEC 2023 Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition continues at the Hyatt Regency Hotel to July 27th. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TDT News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Monarch of the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana is carded to visit Trinidad and Tobago for the Emancipation celebrations. More in this short TTT news item.
Trinidad and Tobago is preparing to welcome royalty. The monarch of the Ashanti Kingdom, the Asantehene, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II of Ghana, will be visiting from July 30th to August 5th and will be the guest of honor at our 2023 Emancipation celebrations. His visit follows Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley extending an invitation to the Asantehene in March 2020 during his visit to Ghana for that country's 63rd independence celebrations hosted in the Ashanti region. According to the Office of the Prime Minister, the Asantehene expressed his eagerness to visit Trinidad and Tobago, his anticipation of the establishment of an Ashanti village in Trinidad and Tobago, and the formation of linkages between the Caribbean and Ghana. Ghana's royal ties to Trinidad and Tobago can be dated as far back as 1881 with the arrival of Prince Kofi Nti of Ashanti, West Africa. In 1883, Prince Kofi Nti designed a signal station which was built at Fort St. George, Port of Spain.
Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Motley is not pleased with some of the criticism surrounding the new airport memorandum of understanding. The Prime Minister warned there was no place for divisive comments which incite hatred. She says Barbadians are better than that. In the meanwhile, Senior Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Kerry Simmons says he's been listening to the conversation nationally regarding the developments. He says such PPP arrangements aren't new to the Caribbean. CBS News has more.
Having had 3 chances at negotiations, that this one presents the best possible deal for us. I hear that there are people who are talking about the fact that this is an Arab company. Mr. Speaker, where do we now get off discriminating against people on the basis of nationality? And have we forgotten that Bajans is going to Abed's every day for the last 40 or 50 years? And they're going to a beauty shop in St. Michael's Road? For those who want to to play to the worst attributes of humankind. Next thing you're going to hear that you shouldn't talk to people because they worship a different God. No, Mr. Speaker.
Sense that there's an angst in Barbados about where these have existed. They have existed, Mr. Speaker, across the Caribbean. Linden Pingling Airport in Bahamas and Grand Bahama, as well, public-private partnership. There are at least 3 of them in the Dominican Republic, Mr. Speaker, sir, Norman Manley and Sangster in Jamaica, both public-private partnership. Louis Munoz Marin in Puerto Rico, same thing. Aimé César in Fort-de-France, same thing. They are across the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, sir, we went through as a government a pre-qualification process which ended in May of 2020, and in August of 2020, 13 pre-qualified bidders were announced.
In the meantime, strong principals, along with teachers who can lead and inspire students, are critical at this time to Barbados as that country seeks to reform its education system. Prime Minister Mia Motley shared that view during her feature address at the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools conference currently underway in Barbados. More in the CBS News item.
If we don't have balance and teach the capacity to be discerning, to be compassionate, we know all of it, to be honest, to be fair, to be accountable. We know them. And those now will be the most important skills because knowledge can be achieved anywhere. We have to teach those values and we have to teach how to. The process. Because if we don't know how to use knowledge, if we don't know how to do the algebra and how to do the simple basic things of subtract, multiply, add, divide, how to treat syllables, how to. But the how to goes beyond formal education. It needs to go into the non-formal education system too. Even down to how our schools are designed reflects preparation for an industrial age that is now long gone. The skills that we need, and you heard the Chief Education Officer speak about the need for collaboration. Critical thinking wasn't only being spoken about in the 21st century. When I was Minister of Education in 1994, 1995, the White Paper on Education Reform, we understood from as far back as then, 30 years ago, that we needed to change it. But the problem is that to change the educational system, as I learned then, isn't a function of the Ministry of Education. Sounds strange, no? To reimagine the education system is a function of national development.
A detective constable in Jamaica who was convicted of raping a schoolgirl in 2021 has lost his appeal against his conviction and sentence.
The trial judge had sentenced Leslie Walker to 15 years imprisonment with a stipulation that he should serve 10 years before he is eligible for parole. In dismissing the 50-year-old policeman's appeal last Friday, the Court of Appeal ruled that the sentence was not excessive and should be reckoned as having commenced on July 16, 2021.
3 men are being sought after the invasion of a home of a High Court judge in Trinidad and Tobago and making off with thousands of dollars in valuables. Renata Burnett of HGP Nightly News has more.
Police are searching for 3 men who invaded the home of a High Court judge in Trinidad and Tobago on Friday and stole thousands of dollars worth of items. The robbery took place around 1:30 p.m. while 2 workmen were carrying out renovations to the home of Justice Marissa Robertson. Investigating officers said while the workmen were conducting the repairs, a black car with 3 occupants stopped at the front gate. The men exited the vehicle and confronted the workers. According to reports, the workmen were robbed of their cell phones and cash. After robbing the workmen, the bandits went into the home of Justice Robertson and stole jewelry as well as electronic items, said investigators.
A new trial date set for the trial of Member of Parliament for Long Island in the Bahamas, Adrian Gibson, and his 5 co-accused in the $1.1 million corruption case. Details in this ZNS News item.
However, we can't say when the trial will begin as presiding Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson has placed a gag order on the media relating to the date when the matter will get underway. The newest member of Adrian Gibson's legal team, attorney Damian Gomez, KC, requested the gag order, reasoning that it was necessary to sanitize the environment where the trial is being held. He added that Monday's protests in Parliament Square that spilled over into Bank Lane and surfaced on social media potentially impacted his client. Justice Grant Thompson also expressed concern about whether the defendants could have a fair trial, noting that some of the jurors had stepped outside the court for coffee and may have been exposed to some of the events in Parliament Square. As a result, she said the trial would not proceed. Attorney Gomez also asked for adjournment, noting that he needed a month to go through all the evidence, and the court agreed. Gibson is accused of gaining a financial advantage of over $1 million while he served as executive chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation. He allegedly laundered the money by buying property and vehicles, while his 5 co-defendants are accused of aiding him in the scheme. Allegations they all deny.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.